Hi, Mike Kennedy with you. We've been talking about using the Minolta 16 camera that doesn't have an exposure meter. We talked about setting the shutter speed and f number according to the Sunny 16 rule, or using some type of exposure chart. Well, there are cameras, subminiature cameras with built-in light meters like this Minox B. But the problem is, as these meters age, they become less and less sensitive and they give wrong results. So with this, you might be better off with the Sunny 16 rule than using the built-in light meter. Now, of course, this doesn't have f16, so you're going to modify that. But I'm just making the comment that older cameras, vintage cameras with some type of photo detector probably aren't that accurate. So what we can do is use a light meter. This is a very small light meter. Sekonic is the brand name, and it's very simple to use. The outer ring changes this green pointer, and we're going to match that to that red line after we've taken exposure reading. We have this kind of aqua, or actually it looks cyan, mark here. That's to check the battery. There's a button on the back. I'm going to press that button, and you could see that needle jump up into that zone telling us the batteries are good. Okay, the use of this meter is really simple. We're going to use the inner ring to set the film speed. So let's say in this case that we're going to use this ASA 400 film. We set that. Now we point it toward the subject that we're going to take a picture of. You could see the needle jumped, and we're going to now match needle it. In other words, we're going to put that needle, the pointer, on top of that red needle. Now, if we look at these exposure values, we can set any of these because, in fact, all of these result in the same amount of light. So we could go from, say, 1/60th at f2.8, or we could do a half a second at f16. Any of these values will work because what we have here is, as each f number goes this way, each one lets in exactly half the amount of light that we had before. Or you could look at it this way, each one's adding twice as much light. Then we have the exposure values that are also in halves. So since both of them are in halves, they're matched, so we can pick any combination here and it will produce the same exposure on the film. Now, the image might not be the same because you might want to use a high shutter speed to capture motion. You might want to use a low f number for depth of field. Now, a second thing this light meter does is it does incident light as well. There's a diffuser here. Now, you're going to stand at the subject area and you're going to press the needle, and this is going to be pointed back at the camera, and you're going to see the needle deflects. Well, in this case, I've matched the needles again, and this is telling me if I was standing over here and taking a picture this way, that I'd want to use an exposure value of, we'll pick one of these, a 1/30th of a second, f2. Incident light tends to be more accurate, and accuracy can be more important when you're working with color transparency or slide material. But normally for most subjects, you just point it towards the subject and take a reading.